We're focusing on your wedges, and you've told us that your main issue is directional control. You often hit the ball to the right of target. Now, the direction of the shot is mainly influenced by the alignment of the club face at impact, so that's what we need to focus on in your golf swing. First, we need to ascertain, though, whether the club face alignment being open is an independent issue or whether it's being caused by a different aspect of the swing, and that would be the swing direction or swing path. The swing path is the direction of the club head as it swings through impact. Now, logically, if we want to hit the ball reasonably straight, we would like a reasonably neutral swing path where the club head is moving towards the target as it strikes the ball. However, we can have an in to out swing path where the club head is moving to the right of target, or an out to in swing path where the club head is moving to the left of target. Now, with these sort of shots, when the ball is going to the right, what you might expect is that the swing path that's moving to the right of target is the reason for the face pointing to the right, so this would be the first thing to look for. And we have a very simple test with 2 tees that we can use to ascertain whether your swing path is neutral or not. So we set ourselves up with 1 tee about a club head width behind the ball and another tee about a club head width ahead of the ball. And both of these tees are set up just outside of the target line. What this means is if we make a neutral swing path, we can hit shots without disturbing either of the tees. However, if we have an out to in swing path, we will hit the first tee, and if we have an in to out swing path, we will hit the second tee. So not only will this tell us whether we have a neutral swing path or not, it can also be used as a feedback station for practicing and maintaining a neutral path. If we're hitting the first tee, we need to focus mainly on the backswing and the downswing so that the club stays to the inside of that tee. If it's the second tee that we're hitting with an in to out path, we need to mainly focus on the follow through and make sure this club stays to the inside of that tee. Ultimately, if we can hit shots without disturbing either tee, we will have a neutral path. At that point, you may find that your shots are now consistently on target, which means we found the solution. However, if the shots are still flying to the right, we know that the club face is the issue. If we start by looking at the backswing, what we may find is that you are rotating the club open more than is needed. So if we see that the club face is already pointing either forward or up when we reach this hip height position on the way back, we know we've added too much rotation of the face. The goal at this position would have the club still pointing some amount down. The way to control this would be how the wrists work. So again, if we look at our right hand and the club face, by rotating the right hand to the right, you'll see that the club face opens. On the other hand, if you simply hinge the wrist backwards, what you'll notice is the club face stays square to the path of the swing. So if we can use this as the reference as we take the club back, the right wrist simply hinges straight back as we swing up, and here you can see the face pointing down. Now this, however, doesn't guarantee a square face at impact, although it does help, because the face is still opened in relation to the target. It's square to the path of the swing, but because the path is a curve and the club moves to the inside, the face is now pointing to the right. So it's possible to swing the club down to impact and leave the face open when it reaches the ball. This would be what you might call a late release. So we've hinged the wrist back and then we've come down to impact without unhinging the wrists enough, meaning the face is still pointing to the right. In this case, we need to unhinge the wrists a little sooner to get the face back to square. So back over to the ball here, we've got 3 things to look for. The first would be make sure the club can move on a reasonably neutral arc without hitting either tee. The second would be to make sure we're using a neutral wrist action that keeps the face square to the path. And the third will be the timing of the release. So if the ball is still going to the right, we need to feel more active with the release to get the club to go from slightly open, back to square, and then of course rotate on through to closed. So if we can set up and use a swing length appropriate for the shot we've got, we want to miss the tees, we want to keep the face square to the path with correct wrist action, and then it's the timing of the release that will get the ball on target.